So it's that time of year and you might find yourself having to think about replacing your air conditioner. It may have broken down and be an unexpected expense, or it may have been a planned expense. You might have been thinking about doing this for a while. And today at Kalka Tips, we're going to be talking, Kalka HVAC Tips, we're going to be talking about price and what it's going to cost and all the things that are involved in that. Welcome back. I'm Kevin with Kalka Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning located in Irvine, California, serving all of Orange County. And today we're going to be talking about what it takes to replace an air conditioner, more specifically what it might cost to replace your air conditioning system. There's a lot of changes that have been taking place, and we're going to discuss a few of those. And we'll talk a little bit right now about what's your home like, to get a feel for, so you can get an idea of what you're looking at. Some homes have more than one air conditioner, and some don't. Some have no air conditioning. So we kind of need to get a parameter of where you're at. And is your system, some of the things you want to think about is your system located in an attic? Is it a gas-fired furnace, or do you have a heat pump? What is efficiency and how long are you going to spend in your home, as far as it related to the air conditioning system. So there's a lot to consider in that, and we're going to give you some ranges, some price ranges today about what you can expect before you make that phone call and start shopping for the full system. So let's talk a little bit about the outdoor unit and the indoor unit and some of the efficiencies. Oftentimes, when you go to think, well, I need a new outdoor unit, you might have to replace the indoor unit as well, just so they're compatible. There's been a lot of technological changes. And that's a good thing. Efficiencies have really improved. Air conditioners are a lot quieter, by the way, as well. And as a result of those efficiencies, and there's a few things you need to consider. One thing I'd like you to think about is this is an investment. And the initial cost is, maybe you might want to spend a little bit more money up front versus going on the lower end of the scale, but paying higher utility for the next 10 years. So you really want to think about how long you're going to be in the home as well. So keep that in mind when I'm speaking to you. So there's several tiers of efficiency. There's the basic, the minimum mandatory that's regulated by the federal government and the state of California. And then there's, then you can go up from there and all the way into variable speed compressors and furnaces, which pay for themselves in the long run and much, much comfortable than a basic one-speed turns on, turns off type system. So price-wise, those systems start at around $10,000 on the typical home. Yours could be a little bit less, yours could be a little bit more, but for a full system, that's basically what you're looking at. And the full system consists of the outdoor unit, the furnace, and the coil that sits on top of the furnace. But you might want to take a look at your ductwork and consider that. Consider that 30% of efficiency is lost through your ductwork. So you might want to, consider before you spend all this money on a high efficiency air conditioner, really think about how much money you might be losing in the attic and in the walls through loose and leaky ducts. So that's another thing to consider. Oftentimes, the return on your investment, again, is greater if you spend that money on the ductwork than buying the higher efficiency air conditioner. So there's a lot involved in this that you really want to think about. But again, this typical system is going to start at around $10,000. The probably top of the line system is going to be somewhere in a $20,000 range, and then ductwork, just depends on how much you have and where it's at. But on average, you're going to be starting at around $2,000 or $3,000. You can go up to $4,000 or $5,000 in that range to get your ductwork replaced. So one of the things you want to consider is, when we're talking about these units and the pricing, this is based on a home based on about 25 to 2,800 square feet is a single air conditioner. Typically around that range is when you go from a 5-ton to 2-3-ton systems. So you, at that point, a lot of times they'll have one unit upstairs, one unit downstairs to separate the house. And because the biggest single system will only go up to about 27 to 2,800 square feet and cover that. So we talked a little bit earlier about the changes that have taken place. A lot's happened in the industry. Efficiencies have gone up. Raw materials, a lot of copper, a lot of aluminum, a lot of metals involved in the manufacture of these products, and those prices have gone up fairly significantly over the last few years. Also, the mandates by the state of California, especially Southern California here in Orange County, the pollution controls, they're really trying to get us to transition into electrical heat, which would be a heat pump, versus a standard gas-fired furnace. So the price of gas-fired furnaces has gone up dramatically because manufacturers had to remanufacture them to meet Southern California standards throughout throughout the nation. They had to change the way they're manufacturing them just for Southern California. So you can imagine even that's costing more. The inspection fees and the permit fees have gone up. They want to inspect your ductwork now. Every time we put one of these systems in, permits are required by the state of California, and they want the system tested after we install it. And one of the things they're testing is the air duct leakage. And if your ductwork leaks too much, you're not going to pass, and they're going to want you to replace that. So it's another thing to consider. That's in your benefit because otherwise you're just wasting money sending it to SoCal Edison and SoCal Gas. So it's really, really important to make sure that test is performed. It's actually a very valuable test to have to see where you're at and how your home's ductwork is insulated. Some of the other things that have changed is that the technology has advanced so much that these systems have become so much more efficient, and they actually cool better and heat more evenly throughout the season. And it's really important to consider that added technology to spend maybe invest a little bit more money. I don't like the word spend because it truly is an investment, because you will reap a return on that investment. So you really, again, want to think about how long you're going to spend in the house. So typically, like I said, the higher end variables in that single system is going to be around $20,000 to maybe $16,000, somewhere in there. And then you've got, on the lower spectrum, you're going to be $14,000 for those units. About the size of the air conditioners too, those have increased dramatically. So you might have a pretty small footprint or space for an air conditioner, and you might be a little surprised at how much footprint you need now as a result of that. So you want to keep that in mind too, and there's some alternatives that can take place. But if you have a limited space right now for your air conditioner, you just consider that it's probably going to be a taller and a little bit wider unit now, especially when you get into the higher efficiency range. So that's something to consider as well. I want to talk a little bit, circle back on heat pumps. Heat pumps are, if you have solar, it's a no-brainer in California. You get rid of your gas furnace and put in a heat pump. It's simple. These things run off electricity. You've got basically an electrical factory on your roof, and put it to use. You don't need a gas-fired furnace. It's better for the environment not to have a gas-fired furnace. It's much safer not to have a furnace that starts a fire in your attic every time it heats. When you think about it in those terms, that's basically what it's doing, and oftentimes they are located in the attics in Southern California or in a closet. Either way, they combust natural gas in the attic. And if you have an opportunity to get rid of that and put in heat pumps, that's the way I'd go, especially if I have solar. The utility companies are also offering rebates, so you kind of want to check with the rebate comps, what they are at the time, because they change constantly, but they're really spending some of those dollars that they give out in rebate dollars. They're really trying to incentivize people to look at heat pumps, and that's sort of the direction that California would like us all to go as far as heating and cooling our homes. And it's a great way to cool your home, and it's a great way to heat your home as well. So what's the next step? Well, there's so many variables. It's really important to get somebody out there and have a look at your situation. Even across the street, one home from another, even the same model might be different in some ways, and might be approached different ways, and how you're going to live in the house and how long you're going to live in the house, etc. So give us a call. We're here for you. We'll come out, we'll do a complimentary evaluation for you. We're serving here, located in Irvine, but we're serving all of Orange County, coastal cities, basically all of Orange County. And we'd be happy to go over your circumstances and give you an evaluation that you'll be left with something you'll be able to work with and give you specific information in regards to your home. And I'm Kevin with Kalka Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning here in Irvine, California, and serving all of Orange County. Thank you.